Hello, everyone. Welcome to News Now, the Belmont Journal's daily update on what's going on in the community of Belmont. I'm your host, Roger Colton. I have with me today Peter Struzziero, who is the director of the Belmont Public Library. Peter, thanks for joining us. The question on my mind this morning is, with the schools opening to in-person learning, is the library far behind?
Good morning, Roger. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate your time. Appreciate the invitation. Great question. Is the library far behind? It's not. As of this recording, we're 1 hour into our easing of restrictions. So we actually did open the library this morning at 9 o'clock. And for anyone catching this video later, this is Monday, April 5th. And we did open the doors to the library this morning at 9 o'clock. So we're going to have some limited services as we ease back into the normal state of things, the new normal, if you will. So right now, what we've done is we've suspended the outdoor pickup of materials through the window service, and we're going to let patrons come back inside to pick up the materials at the desk inside the building, as well as browse a few small displays. We're also going to restore service with our computers in our reference room so that patrons can come in, use the computers, use the internet, photocopy machines, printing, faxing, things like that, technology that's been sorely missed. And as the weeks and months roll forward, we hope to continue to ease restrictions so that we can let folks browse the building more normally, spend more time in the library, and eventually down the line, hopefully we can have some more indoor face-to-face programming.
So there are people who have traditionally come to the library to read newspapers and to work, and kids come to study. Those services are not yet available.
Not yet, no. But as the COVID numbers continue to decrease and the amount of vaccines continue to increase, we hope to see that eventually soon. My next steps will probably be, and I'm not exactly sure of when they'll be, but my next steps will be to expand the hours. We're only open until 6 o'clock right now, which is a lot earlier than our traditional 9 p.m. So as the weeks and months go by, I'll look to stretch that out to 7 o'clock, eventually 8 o'clock, as well as allow people to do more things in the building, specifically browsing larger sections. And then probably we get to the point where we allow people to spend larger amounts of time in the library, specifically sitting and studying. And we've always been an incubator for business professionals, so we do miss those folks. We were saying offline before we started that there's a lot of people that come and run their work life from the library. I see them every day in traditional times, and a lot of the time I feel like those are my colleagues, like we work together, because I just see them here every single day. So we miss those folks too.
Being at the library, it would appear to be a very hands-on experience. So what kind of, not restrictions, but what kind of protections do you need to take?
So
COVID.
Yeah. Yep. So we're taking a lot. So as patrons come back in, the first thing they'll notice is there's plexiglass everywhere. So we worked with the town and we worked with the facilities department to secure plexiglass and other protective materials like masks, gloves for staff members that would like them. There's hand sanitizer stands everywhere. You can't walk 5 feet without bumping into one of them. And we've increased our cleaning protocols so that we're cleaning all the high touch points. We're cleaning all the computer stations after every use, cleaning the doorknobs, door handles. We replaced our outdated old water fountains with bottle fillers and that are touchless. So things like that. But the masks is the most important thing. So the masks are required. If you'd like to be in the library, you need to have a mask. You need to have it on properly up around your mouth and around your nose, not on your chin or hanging from your ear. And this is going to be a policy that we have to enforce. So if you're not able to wear a mask for health reasons, we totally respect that and understand that. We'll just ask you to communicate with the library before you arrive, and we're happy to serve you outside, whether that's bringing you some materials outside or printing out some documents for you. But anybody that's inside the building within 6 feet or within eyesight of anyone really is going to need to have a mask on, and it's going to be required for all patrons.
Let's close the door. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Let's close the door on that discussion. There is a discussion going on in Belmont in the recent weeks about the library budget and the possible implications of that budget for its continuing accreditation and participation in the Minuteman Library Network. Can you tell us what the facts are?
Sure thing. Yep. So tomorrow, April 6th, the town will vote on an operating override. If it fails, the library budget will be reduced by $65,000. And this reduction will impact each of our three primary cost components, being staffing, materials, and by materials, I mean books, movies, digital resources, computer programs, things that patrons use. And the third, plant and building management. So a reduction in funds available for building repairs and for energy conservation. Our budget right now is less than 1% over the needed appropriation mark. So the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners outlined several criteria for operation and for certification. If a library does not meet these requirements, then they face losing certification. So this $65,000 cut, if the override is to fail, will bring us to less than 1% over that needed appropriation mark. We call it the MAR, the Municipal Appropriation Requirement. That MAR requires that the budget continues to grow year over year by about 2.5%. So if we're under 1% above that mark, I don't expect that in a scenario where the override is not to pass, that we would likely get a 2.5% increase next year. And I'd be in a tough spot. If we were to be decertified by the state, then we could lose our membership to our network. So if a community doesn't meet these requirements, the participation in the state program is in jeopardy. And that includes by itself access to many state databases, different forms of advocacy, and state aid funding. But again, the most importantly, if we were to lose certification, our interlibrary loan program in connection with the Minuteman Library Network could be lost. So the Minuteman Library Network is run by a board of 6 or 7 library directors that make decisions for the entire network. I am one of those directors. I sit on that board. And that board is allowed to vote to remove any library that is decertified from its membership. So it wouldn't be automatic, Roger, but it's definitely something that we could face.
And let's give folks some context. You know what the Minuteman Network is, and I know what it is. Can you explain to folks what the Minuteman Network is?
Yeah, to keep it brief, it's a connection to the 45 libraries or so that we're all part of a network with. Specifically, we have opportunities for librarians to sit on committees, to make joint decisions together with other libraries. But the thing that the people would recognize and feel the most is interlibrary loan and the ability to have interlibrary transfer of materials. So I have less than 200,000 items in our library. Network-wide, we have over 6 million items. So imagine, just going to a library on an island. Whatever's in the building is what you have access to. We get 15 or 20 bins of materials every single day, books, movies, and likewise other things each day from all the other libraries. I think we did somewhere between 45 and 65,000 interlibrary loan items that came to our library from other libraries last year alone. And last year was not a big year given the coronavirus. So it's usually higher than that. All that would be lost. If we don't have a book or if it's not available, patrons would just have to wait until we were to buy it or until they could receive it. The wait time for materials would get a lot longer.
Okay, let's close the door on the budget and
Okay.
Let's talk about the new library. It sort of got lost in the COVID-19 pandemic. What's the status there?
Sure. So I wouldn't say lost. I think we made a strategic decision to prioritize what's best for the community. And we've been working with town government and with our partners in all departments as they prepare an override option for the community. So when the town says that they need more money for operating, that's not the right time to go out and do major capital fundraising for our building. So I, like the rest of our town department heads and staff, we don't have an opinion on the override. Whatever the town decides is the right decision for the operating budget, whether to pass or not an override tomorrow. We'll be here. We'll be operating the library. We'll be operating our departments to the best of our abilities. And what we'll do is we'll see what the community says on an override and then make decisions with our partners, with town government, with the select board on a timeline for when we might come out and ask the community for a new a new library. My plan was to have our library foundation do some major capital fundraising over a period of 18 months to 24 months. And I wouldn't say that we've been able to really start that period of time in earnest because it was meant to begin in 2020. So not shelved, but we put a pin in it because we always want to make the decision that's best for the community. And right now it's to focus on the operating budget and what it will be for FY22, depending on the priorities of the community.
That's great. Thanks for joining us today, Peter.
Oh, thank you, Roger. Appreciated it.
We've been speaking with Peter Struzziero, who is the director of Belmont's Public Library. You've been watching News Now, the Belmont Journal's daily update on what's going on in the community of Belmont. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Roger Colton. I'll talk with you again next time.